All right, bro. I've been troubleshooting for like 2.5 hours, twin. 2.5 hours trying to record the screen, record the audio, record my everything, bro. This it was cooked. It was bad. But we finally got it to work. So yeah, this is a breakdown of my recent single, Ballad. I thought I would just do a breakdown of this track because I'm too lazy to record the music video and I have no ideas what the music video is going to look like. So here you go. You get a breakdown. So here it is. Okay, so before we get into anything, first part of the track. I use this weird PS2 ambience that I made. Well, I don't think I made it. It was an Alchemy. I forgot what the preset was called, but during this time I had I had an obsession with like PS2 noises and ambience, so I wanted to incorporate it into every song I was making at the moment. And frankly, I really don't think this makes sense for the kind of style and song that Ballad is. And you'll see throughout the entire track a lot of the strange decisions I went with for like the synths and like that kind of stuff. I don't know, bro. Like I was experimenting with a lot of sounds and I wanted to make something that sounded like a PS2 ballad, but I kind of made it too on the nose. But that's this sound right here. Let me play it back. Graphic EQ, flanger, convolution, reverb. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, where do I really start? I guess we can start with whatever this is. Okay, bass, yeah. So it's a really simple track. It's just bass, guitar, and drums, all recorded live. Yeah, the bass I put in exciter, clip distortion, graphic EQ. Well, I didn't even do anything with the graphic EQ. I don't even have that. Convolution reverb. You're gonna see a lot of convolution reverb, and a graphic EQ I actually did something with. But the inspiration behind this track was that one Deftones song, they did a cover, an instrumental cover of Sleepwalking. That's what it was. Sleepwalking. That's pretty much the inspiration behind this entire track in terms of sound and everything that went with it. Drums, all recorded live. Not really much going on. Double lock. Have some double lock going in to give it more punch. Kick. Tom somewhere over here. Well, I guess I think I kind of I don't think I had a mic for the toms. So I kind of just had it mixed in with one of the two. I believe it might have been the kick or the snare. I forgot. But overall, I didn't even mix the toms. I just let it ride. Snare. Didn't really do a good job mixing in the drums at all because this is the first track I actually used live drums for and I played myself. I didn't even play it on tempo either. I just quantized the whole thing because I didn't know how to do it. And I was going to have my drummer, Ethan, play drums for this track, but for some reason it grew on me over time. So I was like, all right, whatever. Let me just rock with that. So the drums are played live, but they are quantized to hell, and I will never do that ever again. I think that bit is probably my favorite part of the song other than this section right here. But what I did is I arpeggioed the descending melody. All with the same plugins. See right here. Oh, geez. Another thing I realized is how out of tune this entire track is. This track is grossly out of tune. The guitars are out of tune. The vocals in some points are out of tune. I don't know what was going through my head at this time. Like, I just was working on it and I already recorded everything and I didn't feel like going back and re-recording. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to tune it. But at this time, my intonation was like complete dog shit. I was not tuned at all. So a lot of this track is wildly out of tune. And if you're you may not catch it, but at certain points you will if your ear is really tuned like that. But yeah, this track was really kind of an experimenting with how to record with live instruments for the first time. Because I've recorded with live instruments before, but like I've never done a full track where everything is recorded live except for the synths that were put in post-processing. But yeah, biggest takeaways is tune your instruments. It's going to make your life a million times easier unless you're playing with detuned instruments on purpose. And play the takes right. Like honestly, don't settle for kind of dookie takes. Like you kind of want to make a take that will make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but like you kind of want to try and get the best take as possible. You feel me? I feel like this was a very lazy put together track by me, but if people like it, people like it. And before we get into that section, let's take a look at the vocals. So carry on then. Holy chain of doom. Jesus Christ. De-esser, compressor. Jesus. God damn. Yeah. There's a lot going on. And okay, all right, bro. Like, listen. At the time, bro, I had no idea how to mix my vocals, bro. This was like my third or fourth song. Wow. Now I'm seeing back on it where I am now. This chain is like disgusting. This is a horrible chain. Jesus Christ. But it got the results that we got, I suppose. Why? I think at this time I didn't understand what I was doing. Like, this was still a very, like, recording music was still very fresh to me. Like, wow. This is egregious. All for nothing, and there it goes now, for crying out loud. Oh, I'm beyond me, asking for a pretty hair. Yeah, wow. I'm surprised with all the plugins that I put on it. It sounds like that. I mean, it works in the mix, I suppose. If you have differing opinions, yeah, definitely let me know, because Jesus, wow. I will never have a chain look this terrible again. I understand how these plugins work now, so I don't think I could ever make a chain like this. Oh, what is worth? That's that whole section right there. We got some harmonies. Hold on, yeah. Another vocal chain of doom. Pretty detuned harmonies. Yeah. And I think this whole section vocally was out of tune as well. What it's worth. Yeah, that's pretty out of tune. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, some tracks are not perfect. I mean, a lot of people didn't really say too much about it or not anything at all, but I'm pointing it out here, so I hope I don't ruin this song for you, but whatever. We had a nice little pad from Omnisphere. This was like one of the instances where I think the pad actually worked in terms of the mix. Alright, I had the pads rise over here. Not really a fan of what I did personally. Looking back, my sound selection back then was not the greatest. It was very muddy, didn't really do too much with the stereo imaging, but I know I'm being like mega critical about myself, but like it's really crazy to see how far I've came from this track to what I'm making now. But a lot of these decisions were very odd, to say the least, but that's all part of experimenting and finding out what works and what doesn't work. So I'm not mad that I made this choice. Fills in this section right here. That's that. I think it was more or less the same arpeggios that I recorded. Yeah, more or less the same. But then I added 2 more to build up that section. Or 1 more. Actually, not right. It's 2 more. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. That's another thing. This track was a nightmare on my laptop. I don't know if we'll be able to get through the whole thing without crashing, but I think it was like this section we had a lot of problems. I think the reason why this is so as unpolished as it is because I was having so many problems recording that I was just like, I need to get the song done so I never touch this project file again. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is unpolished, out of tune, clipping, blah blah blah. Who cares, bro? But you know. Change the melody up here for the guitar. If I remember where it is. I don't label my stuff. Okay, I do like this pad sound. I think it's out of tune, but who cares? All right, who gives a shit if anything is out of tune, bro? Just rock with it. I like that pad sound, and I really like how it came in here. All right, that was that. I'll try. that is the solo. Yeah, the solo just pretty much repeats that section right here, but I what I did for the guitar is just straight DI guitar, straight into some distortion, EQ'd out all the harshness of it, and you get something like this. So yeah, a very very distorted guitar, straight DI. Um, don't really know what the idea was for that. I just kind of like the sound of it and it felt like it fit. And yeah, this whole section's that sounds cool. Then we had some feedback leading into the solo. That's some gnarly feedback, I'm not gonna lie. That's some really nice feedback. But yeah, this leads into that section of the entire song. And then it leads in back out into the PS2 ambience chain. But yeah, that is the entirety of Ballad. And yeah, this track was fun when it started. It wasn't fun when I was getting towards the end because of a lot of the technical issues. And looking back on it, it's a good prototype for what I'm gonna be making leading up to the EP that I'm gonna be dropping. Yep, it's an EP. It's not an album anymore. Sorry to break the news like that, but it is what it is. But yeah, this track was pretty. It taught me a lot about how to record live instruments, the do's and the don'ts, and the things you should look out for, and really become proficient in the melody that you're trying to record. Because I remember recording this, I was not playing this well at all. I've played the song much better now, but back then recording it for the first time, I was really stumbling through it, recording the parts individually and being satisfied with very subpar takes. So, my piece of advice is to record, like become really good at playing the thing that you want to record so that you can get a really nice recording get really good takes of what you want to lay down. And make sure your instrument is in tune because obviously you want to be singing in tune so you don't have to pitch correct everything down a couple cents, and even then you'll miss a few things there. But I don't know, bro, like make sure you record everything, like make sure you practice the parts really well before laying it down. And yeah, if you can get a drummer to play your just stuff live, it would be better than having to quantize the entire beat. But it is what it is. I'm not mad that I put it out. I got some good reception over on SoundCloud about it, and a lot of people tend to like it live, which I agree. The live version is pretty swag. But yeah, dude, that's Ballad. So yeah, I'm gonna probably do some more breakdowns on my tracks in the future and whatever. Come out to my show July 13th, Will's Pub. It's going to be a great time performing with All Things Rot, Urban Sprawl, and Junk Garden. Amazing guys. Can't wait to do that. But yeah, going to have some more music coming out for you guys in the future. Working on this EP. It's going to sound like nothing that I've put out before, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm out. Love y'all.